Good afternoon, Britain. It's 27 minutes past 1, and Greta Thunberg is being tried for a public order offence after protesting in London last year.
Yes, the 21-year-old climate campaigner was arrested during a demonstration as oil executives met for the Energy Intelligence Forum last October.
Greta and 4 other activists pleaded not guilty in November to blocking the entrance to the meeting.
But, in light of all this, is it ever OK to break the law for the sake of the planet? Joining us now is Just Stop Oil's Francis Davies. Francis, Just Stop Oil have in the past broken the law. I remember distinctly the Dartford crossing. That ended up with 2 jailed, I believe, if I remember correctly. Is it ever justified in your view?
Yeah, thanks so much for having me on. I mean, I would have to say yes. I mean, we're trying to preserve my life, your lives, the lives of your family, and it's not just the planet that we're trying to protect, it's the lives of millions of people. And, you know, we know from history that we have to break the law in order to put pressure on the government and to be listened to.
No one would doubt your sincerity in your views. You genuinely believe in what you fight for. But there are others who think differently. For example, there are Islamist extremists who believe that people will go to hell unless they convert to Islam. They will sincerely, perhaps, break the law in order to force people to convert. In their view, they might be saving people's lives for eternity. There might be abortion activists who say that babies are being murdered and to save their lives we need to break the law to stop people having abortions. Why do you get to say that your moral conviction is the one that's right and other people's individual moral conviction are those that are wrong?
So what's really integral to the Just Stop Oil campaign is the fact that it is a non-violent campaign. That's what separates us from the examples that you've just given. We're absolutely dedicated non-violence, both as a tactic and as a principle. So though we might be breaking the law, it will never be an act of violence.
So you, for example, so you wouldn't oppose, for example, anti-abortion activists throwing paint at buildings, perhaps blocking people from going into abortion clinics. In your view, that would be non-violent protest and therefore completely fine?
Well, I mean, you've had me on here to speak about the Just Stop Oil campaign, about Greta Thunberg appearing in court, so I'd just like to keep it to that, if that's possible. I'm not an expert on that field.
You don't see the analogy?
Yeah. I understand the comparison you're trying to make, but I'm not...
I think the problem is that in a democracy and in a society, people have a multiple of different views and a multiple of different priorities. If everyone went around throwing paint at, you know, the Mona Lisa, graffitiing buildings, blockading roads, climbing up bridges for the sake of their big priority, their policy agenda, we'd live in in anarchy, wouldn't we, really?
Yeah, possibly. Or perhaps, you know, if the government just did their bare minimum duty to protect the people in this country, then we wouldn't have a reason to have to go and climb up bridges and do all of these things, you know?
But isn't the point here that we have a democratic society? We decide what the things that we want to do, or indeed what we want the government to do, democratically. And there's a risk of disorder, of chaos, if individuals take it upon themselves to break the law for whatever their course is. Surely the way that we decide what society wants in general is democratic and within the law.
Well, of course, we know also that protest is absolutely integral to maintaining and upholding a democracy, and in particular, non-violent protest. I mean, I really can't express to you how severe this situation is, and I'm sure you know this. The science, the IPCC report, I mean, I won't name off all these institutions, but this is really hard science, and we know that we are heading towards societal collapse. That will be disorder when there's no food on the shelves, when people are dying from flooding and from heat strokes in the summer, when our hospitals...
The problem is Just Stop Oil. Just Stop Oil has become a bit of a joke, even among young people, because they are so disruptive. I'm really sorry. We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you for your time.
Let's cross live to South London, where Superintendent Gabriel Cameron is reading a statement.